Hey everyone, MichelleAlexandria coming at you with another stream of consciousness kind of ramble thing. I have a couple of topics I want to talk about today. Originally, I was going to break this up into 3 or 4 separate videos, but decided A, you don't want to watch 3 or 4 separate videos, and B, I don't feel like editing 3 or 4 separate videos. So I'm just going to talk about this in one, maybe 10-minute ramble. So let's just dive right in. Before I dive in, please hit that like button, or is it up here or is it over here? But hit the like button over here, over there, wherever. And please subscribe to the channel. If you leave a comment, please do leave a respectful comment. You're allowed to disagree with me, but I want to build a community of people who help each other, uplift each other, and can have a good debate without being toxic or calling people names or using profanity or any of that kind of stuff. And it's something I'm trying to get better at too, because I realize I can be just as toxic as everyone else on the interwebs behind my keyboard warrior kind of stuff. So I'm trying to get better about that myself. So I want everyone else to strive for it. I do have a quick trigger band hammer finger, so if my initial response is to cuss you out, then I'm just going to delete your comment because I don't want to deal with it anymore. I do YouTube for fun, people, for fun. Anyway, let's dive right in. A few months ago, I did a video called Movies That Must Be on the 4K UHD Format. And so far this year, we're starting to get some of these movies. And the latest announcement was FlashGordon is coming out in 4K UHD. Yes, people, FlashGordon in 4K UHD is coming out. I'm really happy about this. But with the good comes the bad. FlashGordon in 4K UHD is only coming out in Europe. Are you people kidding me? What about the US? You guys get your free health care. Can I get a little FlashGordon on UHD for a reasonable price in the US? Is that too much to ask for? Apparently it is. Apparently it is, people. So FlashGordon is coming out in the UK on August 17th. That's my birthday month. So if you guys want to buy me a birthday gift, go to Amazon and, click and buy me that gift. I may actually end up creating an Amazon wish list or something. If you guys want to show some support, better than opening up a Patreon. So anyway, the new FlashGordon disc is it retails for $49.99. I actually pre-ordered it, and that's in euros. The American dollar currency converter says it's going to be, I'm sorry, that's going to be $52. Which is fantastic, because back in the day, when I used to go to Europe all the time, I'm making myself sound like a baller when I've only been to Europe like 4 times. But back in the day, the conversion rate was outrageous. It was like $4 for every euro. So if I bought something for 10 euros, that would translate to like $40, and it was disgusting. It's one of the reasons why I stopped doing international travel, because the whole currency conversion rate thing was a scam. I hated it. I hated it with the fiery passion. So this is great, because that means FlashGordon is only $52. And if you go to Amazon.co.uk, the European Amazon website, this collection looks really, really nice. I mean, it's a really nicely packed looking box set that spans about 4 or 5 discs. It comes with the comic book, artwork book. It comes with the soundtrack. I mean, come on. It's a great set. Like, I own all of this stuff. I mean, I own the soundtrack digitally. And I used to own the physical copy. And I don't own any more physical CDs. And I'm kind of sad about that. But, when you move around all the time, at some point, I just got to give up on the physical media, which sucks. But I'm loving this set that they put together. It's a beautiful looking set for one of my all-time favorite movies. I'm not saying it's not like the bestest movie in the world, but it's the bestest movie to me. And I don't believe in that whole idea of guilty pleasures. Either you like something or you don't. You don't have to defend it. You like what you like. Who am I to say it sucks and therefore you shouldn't like something. When I review something, I always come at it from the standpoint of this is what I feel, this is what I like, that's what an opinion is. It's not for me to say, just because I don't like something or I think something is bad, it means that you shouldn't like it either. That's what the problem I have with today's modern reviewers and modern YouTube, modern social media. It's the whole dogma that just because you don't like something, that means the entire world is not allowed to like it either. Or just because you like something, that means the entire world must like it as well. No, I don't approach life that way. I'm like, hey, this is what I like. This is why I like it. This is what I hate. This is why I don't like it. And that's all I try to say. I never say you should never like something because everyone else hates, and I always hate the trolls who go to Rotten Tomatoes and will see all my old reviews and start trolling, and their only argument is, hey, I can't believe you like FlashGordon. This movie sucks. And here's why. Because on Rotten Tomatoes, it only has 30% fresh rating. And then I looked at 10 other reviews you did. And your reviews are totally different than what everyone else is saying. And it's always amazing when people do that kind of crap, because it always ends up being my viewpoint is perfectly in sync with the masses. Whether it's I hate something, see all these other critics who agree with me, or I like something, see all these critics who agree with me, and then and look, you're the only one who disagrees with what the masses says. And I'm sitting there going, I don't give a F what the masses say. It's an opinion. It's my opinion. I like what I like. I don't live my life based on what Joe Smo or Susie Sue or whatever says. I mean, it's my opinion. I like what I like. That's it. I don't care if I don't like playing that game. And the other thing is, and then that person will always go, hey, because I'm pretty sure there are a bunch of movies that they don't agree with critics with. And when that's the case, then suddenly it's like their opinion is still the bestest. So that's why I always hate arguing opinions with people, because it's an opinion, and I don't even know how I got off on this track. But that's the beauty of these stream of consciousness, because they're unscripted. They're just me talking off the cuff about certain things that I want to talk about. Next up for discussion is HBO Max. I am surprised that video did so well. I mean, I was not expecting it to get almost 4,500 views in like 2 days. That's kind of amazing. Like, normally when I do a video, I only get a couple of hundred views, or unless I'm talking about a TV where all of a sudden I'm getting like 20,000 views. I don't know. I don't want my life to be a slave to the YouTube algorithm, which is one of the reasons why I don't want to talk about TVs and get pigeonholed into talking about one topic. Because otherwise I'll be like, ooh, no one's watching this stuff that I really want to talk about. Like this stream of consciousness, I would be shocked if it gets over 50 views. But if it does, good on me. Good on me. So anyway, HBO Max, the launch of HBO Max was really, really disappointing. I was really looking forward to this service. The thing that annoys the crap out of me, again, back to my original point about how people think you're supposed to live your life the same way they do, is all the comments I got from a-holes about how cable sucks, you shouldn't have cable anyway, and I'm a cord cutter. I'm like, I don't give a flying F if you're a cord cutter. I don't give a flying F if you're a vegan. I don't give a flying F if you're a Christian. Why do people feel like it's like they want to label themselves and they want everyone else to know? I don't care. I like cable. I've never had a huge issue with cable. If you could come to me tomorrow and tell me, hey, you cut the cable bill, you don't have to deal with Comcast, AT&T, Spectrum at all. I get my 400 up and down internet unlimited for $40, then yeah, I would cut the cable. I would I would take an axe and just chop that cable and be really happy. But in the real world, where real people live, if you cut cable, you're not cutting cable because you still got to get your broadband internet. In most places in America, anyway, you got to get your broadband internet through one of the cable services anyway. So even if I hate Spectrum, even if I hate Comcast, even if I hate AT&T, even if I despise Verizon, I still got to get my broadband service through them anyway. So you can say you're cutting cable all you want, but you are not cutting cable. You just aren't cutting cable at all. So you get so anyway, if I still gotta get my service through like one of these companies I really hate, then I might as well just get what I want and negotiate with them. And the sad fact of the matter is there is no perfect solution, because if I cut cable everywhere I lived in New York, DC, LA, Florida, New Jersey, and those are like the 5 main places where I've had projects and I worked in. When you cut cable, your service, your cable-only package is $90, and that's before you even get into all the taxes and services. And I'm talking $90 for cable, for a broadband that matters. Sure, you could get broadband that's like 20 megabytes or 20 megabytes and 5 down or whatever. You can get the lowest tier broadband for about $30 or $40, but with that broadband, you're not getting much, and in most of it, you can't watch 4K. It doesn't stream 4K very well, and then there's data caps you got to deal with. So for that $30 or $40, you're pretty much getting nothing. If you want a level broadband that matters for a service like mine, you're paying $90 a month. Like I'm lucky to be in a building where I can actually subscribe to 3 different services. Actually, it's one of the first times I've ever been able to get competition in one of the apartment complexes I lived in. So the service I have now would cost $90 for up and down 300 or 400, and that's what I'm paying. And that's internet only. If I went with the other company, it would be $125, and that's before you get into all the BS taxes and services. $125 for 1 gigabyte up and down, and you will have to get 1 gigabyte because that is the only service, the internet only package they provide that actually has unlimited broadband. And if you're streaming 4K and you're streaming video games, and if I ever wanted to get into like live streaming and stuff, you gotta have unlimited bandwidth. You can't go with this capped bandwidth crap and all the overage charges that come with it. You can't do that. So I would have to pay $125 a month, and that's just for the broadband. So then you pay the so back to the service I have now. If I was to go with just strictly internet, it's $90. Then, because I do like TV, I like entertainment, then I would have to get YouTube TV or Hulu Live or any of those kind of things. And once I do that, those services are now like $50 or $60 if you want to get Hulu Live channels or with the DVR, or YouTube Live, or Amazon. I don't think Amazon does Live. So again, you're back up to spending $150, $160 a month to get strictly internet and cable only without the cable companies. So again, what am I gaining by cutting the cord in that scenario? I mean, really, what am I gaining? And again, most people who push cord cutting are these people who don't watch much TV anyway. They watch one channel or they watch 1 or 2 shows, and that's it. And I can't believe the cable companies have catered to all of these whiners. And that's why we have all these stupid streaming services to begin with, is because all these whiners thought that, hey, I'm paying all this money for stuff I don't watch, and why? I want to have stuff a la carte, because these morons thought they'd be spending 99 cents a month for ESPN, which is BS. You would never end up spending 99 cents for ESPN. So So anyway, so with my cable package, I only pay $115 a month. For $115 a month, I'm getting 400 up and down, 400 channels, including all four movie packages. I'm locked in for 2 years for $115 a month, and I can cancel at any time. So for me, having cable, I'm actually saving money. And all my premium apps are free. So when I got HBO Max, see how I circled all the way back around to HBO Max? I got a free upgrade to HBO Max because I already have HBO Go. So that worked out really well. And that is HBO's Max's only saving graces. Basically, all they did was rebrand HBO Go and HBO Now to HBO Max and added Friends. And they added Friends and they added the Flintstones, and a few other things, and that's about it. And the launch was horribly botched. I don't understand how they can launch a service in this sad, pitiful state, because there's no reason for you to have HBO Max. It's great that they made it essentially free for most people who already subscribe to HBO, so you already know what you're getting. But there's no tangible benefit to it right now. It's not available on Android TV. It's not available on Roku platforms, which is fine because I use Apple TV anyway. But for Android and for Android and Roku people, you're getting screwed. And it's weird because both those services actually have HBO Go and HBO Now apps. So it seems like it would be a no-brainer to simply update it. And it was really confusing on day one because you have HBO Now and then it just kind of updates it to HBO Max, but then you have to log out of HBO Go and HBO Now or whatever, and then log back because they'll recognize your standard HBO Now and HBO Go accounts, but it won't give you the HBO Max content until you log out of it and then log back into it, and then you can kind of log back into it. Then you get the HBO Max stuff, but it wasn't immediately apparent what happens. And I don't think the quality of the streaming is a little bit subpar to me. It's okay, but it's not wow. And that's always been my problem with HBO Go to begin with, because I always thought the quality of HBO streaming was kind of terrible. So I was really hoping that we would get higher bitrate streaming and we would get 4K HDR. We're not getting any of that, and I wouldn't hold my breath that it's going to come to HBO Now, because if it hasn't come to HBO Now and HBO Go by now, why would I assume it's going to automatically assume it's going to come to HBO Max? And that's really disappointing when you figure Warner Brothers does an amazing job with most of their 4K transfers. Not own a lot of Warner Brothers movies, because it's kind of weird, because back in the day when I reviewed Blu-rays and DVDs all the time, I got support from every major studio except Warner Brothers. I actually had to buy all my Warner Brothers movies out of pocket. So I actually have a huge library of Warner Brother movies, and I appreciate the fact that on iTunes they actually do automatically update to 4K HDR. So I actually have like 300 movies that are in 4K HDR, and most of them are Warner Brothers movies, so I don't really need the HBO Max service for that. But it's still disappointing that the films aren't in 4K HDR on HBO Max. And I just feel like the launch was really botched, and I'm really and it's also weird that they gave journalists a code to watch HBO Max for 2 months to review the service, and I'm like, what's the point of giving us a code for 2 months to review your service when you only have four crappy things to review on the network right now, that's not HBO branded. So yeah, it makes no sense. The marketing and everything about this service has been terrible, and I have no doubt that within a year it's going to be a full feature service and it's going to be great. The other thing that kind of annoys me about the service is just kind of like, how do you launch a brand new on-demand streaming service and have a big old tab, a big old menu item that says last chance? How do you do that, Warner Brothers? How do you launch a streaming service and have a navigation item saying last chance? And you click that last chance button, and every movie I would want to watch is basically going to go away from the service within the next couple of weeks. That is absolutely astounding to me that you can launch a streaming service with the last chance button, and most of the popular stuff that most people would want to watch is going to be leaving in about 2 or 3 weeks. It doesn't fill you with a lot of confidence if you're trying to decide if you want to buy this service and stick with it long term, if right off the bat you know nothing in the service is going to be permanent. And I think that's a bad way to launch a service. It really is, because every service these days, other than like Netflix, which you know things are going to come and go because that's how Netflix was set up and we're used to that. But with these newer services like Disney Plus, Apple TV Plus, now HBO Max and Peacock, your stuff has to be permanent. It has to be permanently in the service to make people want to stick with it. They fill people with confidence. And then launch on day one and let people know, hey, we have all this great stuff, but you better watch it now because it's going to go away in about 2 weeks. I don't understand what the heck they're doing. Yeah. So anyway, that is my stream of consciousness. I wanted to get into my whole TV, the woes of my C9 versus C10, and the whole Sony State of Play and the Zack Snyder cut thing. But maybe I'll save that for maybe a Tuesday video. Maybe I talk about those issues on Tuesday. So anyway, have a great day, everyone. Stay safe. Do the right thing. Be smart. And feel free to leave a comment about anything I talked about. So anyway, talk to you guys later. Bye.